Okay, it's really good to get back out here today. Beautiful day, a little bit warm, but it felt good getting out, getting a good sweat, and having a good practice. And the guys had a good attitude, and it was fun just being out here. We got a few days here this week to really concentrate on ourselves and getting better. As I mentioned after the game, there's certainly a few guys that need this time to rest up and get healthy, which is great for them. But for the rest of the team, it was a good day today, and we need a couple more good days before we head out on the road and do some recruiting over the weekend.
When you do your self-scout during this bye week, what are some of the trends that have really jumped out that you need to change right away?
Well, I don't necessarily know if I want to get into all that exactly, but we look at a lot of things. We look at what we're calling, defensively, what we're calling in situations, depending on the down and distance, whether we're giving them split safeties, one high, what coverages we're doing offensively. They look at all the formations and if there's tendencies and things of that nature, and we do look at all those things and try to make sure we're trying to change things up here as we move into the next several games.
So it's like Lynn's wearing.
There's a lot to look at.
Looks like Lynn's wearing red jersey. Is he in the quarterback room full time now?
He's in the quarterback room right now. Okay. Yeah, for a few days here, he will be, but he'll need to stay in tune to the wide receiver position as well. But the nice thing about the quarterback position for him is, as we were talking about it, that the quarterback coach and Darren can teach him, what we're doing. Maybe it's a good way for him to learn sometimes. Sometimes you got to trick them.
You'd said that you wanted to kind of work in some of those younger guys that you think might be able to help you in the second half of the season. Have you kind of identified who those guys are?
I don't want to mention names. I mean, all those guys we need to look at. We practiced them all today, all the red shirts, and worked with them, and they got reps with everybody else. So we'll do that most of this week.
Another playbook has been the issue with Amani, obviously, coming from high school. Are you to the point yet where you need to develop a package that he's comfortable with in case, or is that still not down that far list of options?
No, not quite yet. I mean, he is getting reps out there today, as I mentioned, with all the red shirts and continuing to work with all those guys. But with Sawyer, Sawyer will be back. And with Walker and with Lynn, those are the options right now.
Mark, the only one who gets more criticism after a couple of tough losses, other than the head coach, is your offensive coordinator. Why do you think Eddie is so polarizing? People seem to either love him or hate him.
I think that goes with the position. It really does. I can remember back to winning a national championship, and one of my good buds, Rob Jasinski, was the offensive coordinator, and down in Miami, and him just getting brutalized. I'm like, I would not want to defend our offense, but it just goes with the territory. That's that's part of it. With my job, his job, and anytime you're coaching or you're in the public like that, that's okay. People are entitled to their opinions, and we don't take offense to it. Not to say that it's never personal. Sometimes it is. If it gets to us, but you can't listen to any of that. If you let that affect us, then you're going to have a short career.
So your relationship with him is strong.
Oh, absolutely it is. Just a year ago, I think it was, or less than a year ago, I was fending off some of the top 5 teams in the country to hire him. So believe me, I'm very comfortable with him. Are we all happy? All of us want to get better. We're not happy with where we're at. It is what it is. We've got to do a good job to find the best solutions to put our team in a position to be successful and to win each and every week with the players that we have. And so we'll do that.
The defensive backs, they made some kind of youthful mistakes in the first few games of the year. Have you seen them grow and learn from them?
I have, and it just, it stinks. We talked about it in preseason. I knew we were going to go through some mistakes, and the inexperience is going to show up. It just does. I've done this for a long time, and with my eyes, everywhere as been a head coach, but it's always fixed on the defensive backs. And I knew we were going to go through these issues, and it's been difficult. But they have grown, and they have gotten better, and are stepping up and competing, and they're going to get better through the second half of this season as well.
Jordan Griffin, what's the status on him since he didn't play over the weekend?
Yeah, it didn't help us not having Jordan. You go with without Devontae and now without Jordan, those are the 2 most experienced guys we have. And we didn't have either of them the last couple of weeks. Jordan tried to play a few snaps to play the week before, but he just wasn't ready. He should be back by this next week. He was out there today.
Mark, the defense has given up some early scores in a lot of games, but settled in over the course of the game. Have you been able to identify anything that maybe?
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of that comes from the pace, on the road, the pace, the formations, some of the last 2 weeks, them coming out hot and giving us some different looks, dressing some things up. Inexperienced group got us a little bit on their heels, and then once they get a chance to settle in and see what's going on, us get a chance to talk to them, they have settled in and played better. But we do need to start faster. I mean, obviously that doesn't help us with the way we are offensively right now, is the defense giving up those drives and long drives and giving up points early. It doesn't help anything.
How do you do that?
Well, we gotta play better. I mean, we gotta find ways to offset that. I don't know if there's any one answer I can give you. We gotta play better, put them in a position to be successful. All of us gotta try to anticipate some of the flow of that game. And we knew that going into it. I was really actually very pleased with the way our guys handled it. If you go back and watch them, South Carolina, when they played at home with the new quarterback against Alabama, now they had them running all over the place, and our guys really did settle in and pick that up pretty well, to be honest with you.
Is Isaiah any closer to?
He was running around today. Today was the first day he was able to start making cuts. So how fast that comes, I'm not sure. But he was progressing. Today was the date they had in mind where he would progress to the second phase of that recovery. He's been running treadmill, running straight ahead. Started running on some cuts today. So we'll see how his foot responds to that, I guess.
With him having a redshirt available, is it too far to speculate if you can still use that this year? Or do you still plan on him?
I'm still planning on using him, but we'll see how it responds.
When you look at the situation that's played out the last few weeks on third down, and late in the Florida game the last 2 weeks, when you look at those plays, is it anything systemic or common things you're seeing, or is it just kind of different things every time out?
I think it's fair to, be critical of all areas. We need to coach them and put them in a position to make sure we're giving them an opportunity to be successful. We have to make sure we're doing that. We have to give protection. We got to run the right routes. There's been issues and things that we can certainly do better in a lot of areas. It could be better protection. There could be better play calls. There could be better protection. There could be better routes. There could catch some balls. It could be competitive catches. And a lot of things we could do better, but I don't think there's any one area. I think you have to look at all of them.
But from what you've seen, do you feel like these are things that can be fixed in practice, or is it just game experience?
Absolutely. There's things that could be corrected in all of those areas that I just mentioned.
Before halftime, Muschamp, that you all do those interviews with the SEC, and Muschamp said, we need to get in 12 personnel and run to the upside, and they did that the first play. It worked, went for a touchdown. Is there anybody watching and letting you all know, like, hey, this is what he's going to do?
Well, we knew that because we had a few issues with it, but going into the game, their pin and pull scheme, we knew that they were going to do that. And on the first play, Brad had a good play called. We had a pressure coming, and we actually had two guys scot-free. And the corner, the inexperience, again, just didn't pull it, didn't leverage it quite tough enough. And a good back, it just jump cut it and got outside of him. Now he cut off the defense. We had two guys completely free for a 0-yard game. And those are things that, again, we got to leverage it. We got to leverage the ball. And sometimes easier said than done because of different calls, different movements. There's many different calls that we could run to that. And how many reps that young corner got at that particular play call and leveraging that, probably not too many. And, against that quality of back at that kind of speed.
You got Ruffalo, that game time kick in game situations. Are your plans to move forward with him?
That's what it is right now. I thought it was good to get him that kick, and that's why I gave him the kick at the end of the game. There's no doubt. I know some of you asked me about that. I mean, I'm an optimist, but I don't know if we could have done 7 things in 2.5 minutes. And I know I'm up for any amount of criticism I get, but I don't know about that one. I think the getting the kick from Ruffalo was pretty important just to get him out there, get him his feet wet. He only had one kick in a game prior to that, so I wanted to just get the extra point. No, I didn't think it was going to be possible for us to do 7 things in 2 minutes, some change, being that we were out there for 3 hours and scored 1 touchdown.
And Max Stuffy gets another award. He continues to shine. I mean, you guys buying him extra lunches or
Oh,
something?
he's,
like that?
you know what? He's just really good. Like I said, you know, nothing phases him, and I mean that in a good way. Like, he handles everything so maturely. He wants to do well for his team. He takes his job very important, but he goes out there and does his thing every day. And he's a really unique guy, and appreciate him and what he's doing because he's a talented player.
Mark, what are your thoughts on the legislation that passed earlier this week in California?
Yeah, I'm not scapegoating it. I can't comment on that. I have, you know, I'm buried in here. You know, I'd be lying if I didn't say I knew it was out there, but I barely know what's going on with that, you know, outside of these walls. So,
Regardless of Sawyer's health, do you see a situation where you mix Lynn into that quarterback position more?
Pardon me?
Regardless of Sawyer's health, do you see a situation where you mix Lynn into that quarterback position more, even if
well,
Sawyer's
as we build that package a little bit and see some of the good things that he does, I mean, that's always an option. I think, you know, we can always, you know, build on some of this and have it available to us, yes.
How do you balance with him on that last drive? Some of his success was just freelancing and just his natural talent taking over versus trying to make him do the fundamental footwork things that quarterbacks generally do.
We don't want to overcoach him on that. And Darren mentioned that in our meetings on Sunday, and even with taking him this week and putting him through some basic drills, you know, it's really kind of hard to overcoach him at this point. Let his, you know, give him the basics. And Lynn's a bright guy. You guys all know that. And he knows what's going on with the offense, so he knows where to go with the ball, and that's a big piece of it. And, you know, outside of that, I don't think we want to overcoach his footwork and all that, but certainly, you know, some of it.
Coach, how encouraging was to see Boogie Watson kind of break out this week?
I think that was really important. You know, it's another great example of, you know, a guy responding and being challenged. And, you know, I don't mean publicly, but behind our doors, you know, Coach White did a really good job. And to be honest with you, pulled him in last week and had a heart-to-heart with him and expected more out of him, and he delivered. And, you know, that's what we expect out of Boogie, you know, and he's the type of leader, the type of player he can be. And so it was a great example.
Okay, folks.